Hello everyone and welcome back to Moonmothgoddess Tarot. Thank you all so much for being here, your continued love and support here on the channel. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you can find my email down below in the description box. Just send me an email and I will provide you with more information on booking readings as well as other services with me. I also have channel memberships available for both this channel as well as my other channel, Neptune's Child Tarot. So if you feel like you want to enjoy extra content that I do post, you're more than welcome to check those out as well. So today's pick a card reading, we are doing what is your soul telling you about this connection? And that is going to be the connection that you do have on your mind, in your heart. Okay. What is your soul telling you about this connection? So the connection that you have with another person. Now, some of you, I'm primarily focused on romantic connections. However, you may want to use this reading if it is a connection that's been on your mind, that maybe is a friendship, maybe it's with a family member. So if you are going to do that, just kind of take out the parts that have to do with something more romantic and just more or less focus on the message itself and apply it to whatever your situation might be. Okay, so what is your soul telling you about this connection? Do keep in mind that this is a general reading. It is not a private one-to-one reading. So if the groups that come through with the energies today, if they don't quite resonate for you, you might want to skip this reading, or understand that all the messages that come through may not resonate for you. Okay, if they do, that's great. But if they don't, you're more than welcome to choose a different group if that works for you. If you're not really feeling called to any of them, that's okay too. So we do have 3 crystals out here for you guys to choose from today. For group number 1, you are going to be the Chrysacolla. Group number 2, you're going to be the Aqua Obsidian. And then group number 3, you're going to be Turquoise. Okay, if you already feel drawn to one of the crystals, you're more than welcome to skip ahead to the timestamp. That'll take you directly to your reading. So we're focused on what is your soul, which is your higher self, telling you about this connection. So group number 1 with the Chrysacolla. What is your soul telling you about this connection? Okay. I'm going to have to cover up a little bit of this card. Let's actually grab another little crystal here, if that might be helpful. Okay, so group 1, your card is Death and the Maiden, and it says invasion, boundaries violated, and dominance. Okay, so group 2, what is your soul telling you about this connection? We have nobility, and it says honor, high standards, and idealistic. And I will give you guys a closer look once we get into pulling all of these cards. Group 3. What is your soul telling you about this connection? Group 3. We have Nightmare with psychic protection, shield, and also bad dreams. Okay. So those are the choices. Let's take a closer look. Group 1, you have Death and the Maiden with invasion, boundaries violated, and dominance with the Chrysacolla. Group number 2, We have nobility, honor, high standards, idealistic, which is card number 42. With the Aqua Obsidian. Group 3, we have Nightmare. And it says psychic protection, shield, and also bad dreams with card number 5. And that is with the Turquoise. Okay, those are the choices for today. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time with the cards, the artwork, the crystals, and I will see you all at your reading. Hi, Group 1. So those of you that resonated with Death and the Maiden, it says invasion, boundaries violated, and dominance. This is going to be your reading today. So already with this first card that has come through here, you know, it does kind of feel like your soul is telling you something, and it feels like it's maybe not the greatest about a situation you could be dealing with this person. So we're going to pull the tarot and see what is coming through here. What is your soul telling you about this connection? And it feels like it could be something like more of a warning here about this person that you are involved with. Almost something that has a power over you. Group number 1, what is your soul telling you about this connection? We have the 6 of Swords, the 5 of Wands, the 8 of Swords, the King of Cups. The 2 of Wands. What is your soul telling you about this connection? 6 of Wands. Knight of Wands in reverse. 10 of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. And Judgment. Okay. So your soul is trying to bring something to your attention here. Something to your attention. We've got the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom here with the 9 of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, and the 8 of Wands, the 7 of Wands. With Temperance, and the 4 of Wands is under there. Okay, I want to look at this 8 of Swords. I'm going to save this Wheel of Fortune here. What is this 8 of Swords? Three of Swords and Temperance. Okay. King of Wands. You know what? It feels like there may have been something here in this connection with this person in the past. Some of you, I don't feel like this energy here is related to this person that you're dealing with, but it's affecting your connection with this person. What I mean by that is, let's just say that you are someone who's gone through some type of heartbreak, some type of betrayal. It feels like there's still a holding on to this energy. And so, because we have the Ten of Wands here, the Ten of Wands is being weighed down by something energetically. So like I said, some of you, it could be that this situation has occurred between you and this person. But for others of you, I feel like this is energy that you may have experienced in your past, maybe with this person, or even something that's completely unrelated to them. But it feels like this energy is impacting your connection with this person. And there is a need for healing here. There is a need for healing. Now, for those of you where there has actually been some type of betrayal, a boundary and a line was crossed, you know, whether that is a lie or there's some type of deception, cheating, or even a person who has a bad temper, where it has kind of gotten toxic. Because the Knight of Wands is here in reverse, which can even be something that puts you in a certain energy. It may not even be the other person. The Knight of Wands in reverse can be very short-tempered. It could be that you or the other person, there's lashing out here, aggression that's creating conflict, fights, arguments, disagreements, and it feels like there's a lot of feelings that are involved here. And these emotions that you might have for this person could be something that are clouding your judgment, or could be taking your attention away from this need for this healing that needs to take place within you. If some of you are in a situation where this person has hurt you and it is something that's really weighing on you very heavily, you know, there is a big decision to make here. Some of you, it could be that your soul is asking you to leave, okay? And hearing this should not be how do I want to say that? When I say that about leaving this connection, it should be something that is confirming something that your intuition is already telling you. Okay? If it's a situation that you know is not healthy, and it's making you feel upset, hurt, then there is a choice here that you have to make. An important one, because we either keep ourselves in this situation where we're dealing with this, or we decide to move on from it. So I want to look at Judgment here. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, some of you could be in a relationship, a long-term relationship, or even a marriage that you're not happy in. Okay? That you no longer feel secure in. The Queen of Swords is here. The Queen of Swords is really a need for you to use logic, to use discernment. It's about accessing clear thinking. Okay? Some of you, this pain might be something that is so overwhelming, and we might have, like I said, a lot of feelings involved in this situation. And even though it could be, we might really love the person or really care about the person, there's a need for us to be honest with ourselves here. Okay? Those of you that are not even in a committed relationship with this person yet, it could be that this person is not taking action towards you. They're not moving the relationship forward, and that being something that is causing you some kind of distress here. Okay? What is this about invasion and boundaries and dominance here, Spirit? Tell me more about this. The Chariot. The World. Okay, so that is very clear. Very clear. And of course, you know, you have your own free will here. You have to make the decisions that you feel are ultimately best for you. But I honestly feel like your soul is telling you that you need to leave this connection, that you need to move on from it. And that may be something that does require a lot of your inner strength and a lot of your willpower to walk away. But truly what's going on here, and of course it's going to be different for all of you. Some of you might feel undervalued, underappreciated by this person. Some of you might be dealing with a person, like I said, who has a temper, who's aggressive, who's confrontational, who may not necessarily take accountability. Some of you might be dealing with a lot of fighting, arguing, toxicity, a lot of energy here that is not really helping the relationship to move forward in a healthy way. Some of you could be dealing with a person who is not meeting your needs emotionally, a person who makes you feel abandoned, a person who makes you feel neglected, a person who you feel is not really putting forth the dedication, the effort, the commitment to either improving things, to changing, to transforming, to, you know, creating a healthier relationship, to even committing to a relationship. The world is a need to bring something to an end. Okay? So I do feel like your soul is trying to encourage you towards making the decision of removing yourself from a situation that is no longer serving you. And that could mean divorce for some of you. That could mean leaving a long-term relationship. That could be leaving a connection with the person who is not a fit, okay? Not a fit. Something that's just not moving forward in a way that is balanced. For some of you, it might feel like something that is very one-sided. A situation where you feel more emotionally invested than the other person. Some of you could be dealing with the person who's not stepping up in the way that you need them to. And the Queen of Swords energy is about wisdom and about knowledge. So many of you may have gone through similar cycles with past partners or even previously with this person. And this is where there's that need for discernment here, and to be really, like I said, really honest with ourselves about what we have ourselves involved in. And, you know, some of you might have a big decision here about whether trying to fix things, or is it in your best interest to move on? Okay. And I'm really feeling where Spirit is saying that, you know, this, you know, may be a situation for some of you that you do need to bring to an end. Okay. You might be putting forth like a lot of your energy here to try to fix things or to make things work, and, you know, where it's just, it's too much. Yeah, some of you, your soul is telling you, you know, you could be telling yourself that you want, you know, a stability that this person may not necessarily be capable of giving to you. The Five of Swords is here, which, you know, is another card about betrayal. It's also a lot of toxicity, drama, negativity, fighting, arguing. It can be when there's a lot of hurtful words that have been exchanged, actions that have been taken that have hurt another person. And there could be a lot of being very defensive. There might even be resentment, you know, even a feeling of revenge. For those of you that were this pain here that you've been going through has nothing to do with this other person. And it might be the other way around too, where the person that you're dealing with is someone who's hurt and who has trust issues. You know, like I said, there is very much a message here about healing, because this energy is impacting this connection. For those of you where this is your past, where you've brought in trust issues, you know, it could be healthier for you to take a step back, choose yourself, focus on your healing, you know, and maybe revisiting this situation with this person later on down the road. But for those of you where you are actually with this person, where this has happened, and this is something that it feels like you cannot get past it, you can't forgive, you can't let go, you're still, you know, like I said, maybe this person was someone who crossed a line. And, you know, we do have a choice too. We have a choice. We are either going to continue on with the feeling of resentment if that person has hurt you in that way, which could make things very difficult. You know, so I feel like this is where you have to use discernment about whether or not you are going to stay in that relationship or connection, or stay in that marriage. Or if it's better to let go. Okay. And I do feel like your soul is trying to ask you to really think about things logically, you know. Now we do have Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We've got Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have all the signs here, basically. All the zodiacs are here. There is a Cancer energy here. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. What is your soul telling you about this connection? Nurture. Caution. We have grief here. And unfolding. So with the concealed here, perhaps there's something that you're not seeing. For some of you, there is a need for nurturing yourself if you are dealing with grief over something. Let's see what this caution is. It's unstable, right? This little mouse is on a mushroom that's broken. The little mushroom cap is going to fall off. It's unstable. What is the caution here? The Chariot. Use caution with moving forward with this person, with this connection. Four of Swords. Before you move forward, you need to really take some time to reflect. And like I said, for some of you, if you've got a lot of emotions kind of wrapped up into it, we might not thinking about things clearly. Ace of Swords is a need for clarity, the truth, seeing the truth. The Tower's at the bottom, okay? So yeah, some of you, this is like very clear. A need for ending this situation with this person. A need to, for some of you, this is divorce, breakup, letting go, release. It could be that we're trying to hold on to something that's falling apart, that your soul is trying to help you to try to get you to let go, because the Tower is having an epiphany, a realization. It's also a very unstable and chaotic energy. Some of you, it could be that this relationship, this connection is chaotic, that it's unstable, that, you know, the Tower helps to break down a false reality. So if we feel like we have something solid with this person, the Tower is divine intervention. You know, your soul could be trying to help you to just like let go of this person. And we might be trying to hold on for dear life when the universe is trying to get us to release. Okay? Release the person. Stop trying to hold on, because in a way, it's kind of like the Tower is already falling down, right? It's falling apart, and we're trying to just hold on, but what is unfolding here? The Knight of Wands, and there's the Tower. Yeah, so it almost kind of feels like there's an inevitable ending here that's unfolding. What is concealed here? The Magician. The Magician. That's, I don't know if that's a good thing there. The Magician can be about a person's okay, so this person that you're dealing with, group one, I don't like this. Some of you are dealing with a toxic masculine, okay, who is very manipulative. Some of you, this is an Aries, Gemini, Virgo. This person, what's concealed, the Magician is about intention. The Magician can be, in this case, I feel like a very manipulative energy, especially with that Emperor in reverse. This is an unstable For some of you, this is a person who's not loyal, okay? Not loyal. Some of you, it's a person who is very dominating, like this card is talking about. This is a very dominating energy, but not in a healthy way. It's a person who has a way with saying things to you, manipulating your thoughts, your feelings. And that's what you're not seeing here, is about how toxic this person is. Like this, for somebody, this person cannot provide to you the loyalty, the stability, the security, and the type of leadership in a relationship that you really need. Someone to lead you, someone to protect you, someone to provide stability and a solid foundation. Ace of Wands, Two of Pentacles, some of you, and I don't think this, I feel like this is more so for those of you where this is a person who you're not committed to yet. Some of you, this person doesn't have any intention of committing to you. This person is inconsistent. This person is hot and cold. They may be more about the physical. Okay. So in a way, their intentions, their true intentions here are something that you're not seeing. And the universe sees it. Your soul is trying to warn you about this person. What is this nurture here? Ten of Pentacles. Oh boy, Seven of Swords. And Judgment. Yeah, some of you, especially for those of you where you're in a long-term relationship or a marriage here, some of you are dealing with a person who is an avoidant. If this person is someone who has manipulated you in the past, lied to you in the past, cheated on you, betrayed you, has sneaky behavior, some of you, it could be that this person is avoiding altogether committing to you. They could be creating the illusion with you that there's long-term commitment that's going to come from this. For others of you, you're trying to put forth the effort to really nurture a relationship with someone, and the other person is not. And it feels specifically for those of you where you're dealing with a person who's lied to you in the past, a person who's cheated on you, betrayed you in some way, betrayed your trust. Doesn't even necessarily need to be with cheating, but some kind of betrayal here. And they could be a person who's avoiding taking, like really stepping up and taking accountability. Like they might flip things on you. They might make you end up feeling guilty, or where they kind of, it feels like kind of like a person who kind of sidesteps, like they're not really fixing it, you know? They're not really looking at themselves and working on themselves. We want to make sure that we're also not betraying yourself as well. Because if, for some of you, if this person has crossed that line there, you want to make sure that you're not neglecting how you feel and betraying yourself. Where if you feel like this is something that you can't get past and you're feeling like you're trying to force yourself to, you want to look out for that as well, okay? So, like I said, I kind of feel like this message is clear. Some of you, I feel like your soul is really telling you, like, you need to let this person go. Okay, this is not a healthy relationship, marriage, connection, person that you're dealing with. This person they may not have the tools. For some of you, this person might not have the tools to be the type of partner that you need. And that could be, due to their own history, their own past, their own upbringing. Some of you, I kind of feel like this person has you like wrapped around their finger. Okay. And I am sorry for those of you that are having to deal with this. Because I know going through this type of situation with the person, this is not easy. This is draining. This is painful. Yeah, this is a difficult one to deal with, to process, to deal with the thoughts and the emotions and everything that comes along with this. It can be really hard. Especially for those of you that are trying to come up with the willpower and the strength to remove yourself is the hardest part, is walking away. And I would say that don't judge yourself, okay? Because coming up with the strength to walk away, it's not easy, So try not to be so hard on yourself that it has taken you a long time. Like, let's just say if it's taking you a long time to have the strength to walk away, because it can be hard, really hard, to leave, especially when you've got feelings for the person. It's not easy. When I was in my first marriage, I was with that person for 20 years, and I was already checked out of that relationship for a long time, many years. And I had 3 children with that person that were still young, and it was really hard for me to find the courage within myself to get away. Because I kept telling in my mind, like, oh, I have children, I should just stay. And that's more betraying myself, is what I did in the past, is how I was feeling, unhappy, a whole bunch of other stuff that was going on in that relationship. But I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and just, making excuses for the person's behavior, or telling myself I need to stay for the kids, even though I was unhappy. And it took me 20 years. It took me 20 years to get away, but I'm glad that I did. It was for the best. And I was in a much better headspace when I left that marriage, and felt free. Felt free, and it was a good feeling. But it was scary, so I know how hard it can be to leave situations like this, where you just are so invested and you want to see the good in people. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes, especially with betrayal here, it could be a difficult one to get past. And what I would encourage you, of course, not to make decisions when you're feeling very emotional. You want to make sure that you're in a clear headspace. And if that means taking a vacation, some time alone, some time to reflect, some time to think, talking to someone to help you to get the clarity that you need. But I feel like that's where your soul is trying to get you to, is to that place where you have the epiphany, you have the realization, you see the person in the situation for what it really is, and to honor how you're feeling is most important. How to honor how you're feeling right now, and help yourself to make the best decision. And I really truly feel like your soul is telling you, you gotta get out. Okay, like your soul is like, get us out of here. Get us out of here. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to leave this here for you, group 1. I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, group 2. So those of you that resonated with nobility, it says honor, high standards, and idealistic, card number 42. So this is going to be your reading today. So we're asking Spirit, what is your soul telling you about this connection? So let's pull the tarot first. What is your soul telling you about this connection? Group 2. What is your soul telling you about this connection? We have the 6 of Swords. Death. Page of Wands. 8 of Swords. We'll take this in reverse. What is your soul telling you about this connection? 5 of Cups in reverse. 7 of Cups. Knight of Swords in reverse. Six of Wands. And the Queen of Wands. We have the Page of Cups in reverse at the bottom. What is your soul telling you about this connection? Okay. With this one here, it feels like there's a lot of perhaps fantasy-like energy. When we may not be thinking clearly, we might be moving, for some of you it could be moving a little bit too quickly with this person and connection. And there could be a lot of intensity here, a lot of intensity, a lot of passion, a lot of attraction. And it almost feels for some of you could be putting the person on a pedestal. And some of you, I feel like this is a new connection with the person where there hasn't really been much, it feels like maybe much progress, or you haven't really deepened the connection with this person. Some of you, you could be dealing with a person who is not nurturing the relationship in the way that you need. Some of you might be dealing with a person who's emotionally unavailable, emotionally immature, a person who's perhaps not going to be able to really invest themselves emotionally into this connection or to express to you deeper emotional connection. It feels like things might be a little superficial here. And some of you might be hoping that things change into something deeper. It almost I would describe this as like when we're trying to turn something into something that it's not meant to. Like this might be a situation that's only temporary, of a fleeting connection, something that's not meant to last, something that might be a superficial. There might be, like I said, a lot of fantasy, a lot of illusion surrounding this connection. It is one that I feel like maybe you're not feeling, or even the other person not feeling very secure. It kind of feels like you're dealing with a person who's not on your level. Quite honestly, group 2. You're dealing with a person who's not on your level. It feels like there's a big difference in the level of maturity here. And with one person who knows what they want, and the other person who's still exploring. Okay, that's what this feels like. And so I'm assuming that you're the one who knows what you want. Okay, you as the viewer, that you know what you want, and the person that you're dealing with is more detached, not really investing time and energy in the way that they should to moving the relationship forward, not being very direct with you, not being honest with you, not being clear with you. And I feel like you need to not, first off, take less than you're deserving of, not settle. I just feel like you're in a different place energetically than the person that you're dealing with. It feels like you're on a whole other level. But it could be the other way around. It could be the other way around in that the other person that you're dealing with, that they're the ones who know exactly what they want. And you're the one who's still like, I'm not ready to settle down. I'm not looking for something serious, just casual. And that could lead someone, especially the person who knows what they want, it could lead that person to feeling hurt, discouraged, stressing out about where this is going to go. Yeah, it feels like two people who are in two different places. One knows exactly what they want, and the other person is like, I'm just fun, exploring. So I'm going to clarify a little bit here. Let's look at this Death card. Knight of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah. It feels like one person is focused on like long term, taking steps in the connection for something for the long term, and the other person is not really investing themselves. Whether that's the bare minimum or not even starting. Some of you, it could even be like, we're not even getting there. Okay. So maybe, like I said, for some of you, you might have a very idealized, thought in your mind about this person, about it leading, especially if you're the one who's looking for something like long term and you're committed to doing so. you know? But for some of you, I feel like you're dealing with someone who's just not investing. So Spirit, tell me a little bit more about honor and high standards and idealistic. We've got the Lovers in reverse and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so yeah, like I said, it feels like there's a lot of energy here that's a lot of energy that you could be expending towards trying to really nurture this relationship. The Queen of Pentacles is about stability and security and really committing yourself to something. The Lovers in reverse could be when we're trying to force love, we're trying to force a relationship. It's also when a connection is one-sided. Okay? Meaning that the two of you and this person may not necessarily be in alignment. I'm definitely seeing that here. Okay? Like Queen of Pentacles is all about, like, especially when we're talking about like a committed relationship, a partnership, romantic relationship. Queen of Pentacles is all invested. And this kind of feels like some of you, maybe there's a person who's not necessarily taking action towards committing. Why is the Lovers in reverse? King of Wands. Five of Pentacles and Four of Pentacles. So we're dealing with the situation where someone's needs are not being met. Someone might be feeling insecure about commitment or relationship. Some of you might be dealing with a person who has fears of commitment. Scared to invest, scared to open themselves up. Not taking the lead. See, we have the Queen here, okay? The Queen needs the King. But I feel like what the Queen is dealing with is a Page. Okay, and for those of you that are not so familiar with the hierarchy of the court cards, the court cards are the Pages, the Knights, the Queens, and the Kings. Okay, when we're in the Page energy, it's about something that is still immature. It means that it hasn't fully developed yet, or it's not matured. It's something that's new, right? So it's a beginning of something. So we move from the Page into the Knight energy, into the Queen, and into the King. And the King and the Queen are counterparts. They are a couple, right? So the Queen, she needs the King. She needs someone who's going to step up, who's going to lead with confidence, with knowing what they want, just as much as the Queen knows what she wants. The Page is still early in the journey. It's still about a person who is exploring, who is discovering. Queen's been there, done that. She knows what she wants, and she wants a King. She wants a person who's going to step up and be right alongside of her to move towards the same shared vision, shared goal. And maybe that's here, Queen of Pentacles, long-term relationship. But we're dealing with a person who's not taking action towards opening themselves up into really nurturing the relationship. So, like I said, it kind of feels like Queen here is dealing with a Page. We're dealing with a person who's not on your level. There's a misalignment here. So again, if you're the person who's looking for a long-term relationship, security, stability, a person to step up and, be your King of Wands, you may not get it with this person. They've got a lot of growing to do. A lot of, maybe they're at a point in their life right now where they want to explore, where they want to see what's out there. They're not ready to settle down. But it feels like someone's energy here is. So instead of forcing it, right, with that Lovers in reverse, trying to force something to happen, you know, you could end up, for some of you, feeling neglected, abandoned, ghosted, feeling like the person is closing themselves off to really nurturing the relationship in the way that they should. You could have a person who keeps you in a situationship, who is only about the physical and doesn't talk about feelings, doesn't talk about where the relationship's going. You know, so I, like I said, I kind of feel like if you're this queen here and you're embodying that energy of like, I know what I want, I know exactly what I want, I'm sure about it, I'm confident in it, and this person is not stepping up to provide that to you, you know, where you have to, don't take less than you deserve. That could be also where you need to set boundaries, you know, especially if you're in a situationship with this person where they don't talk about commitment, they don't talk about feelings, they're not clear with you, where you are very clear to tell this person, this is what I'm looking for. Ask those questions. Where is this going? Where is this headed? And even have some kind of a timeline in your own mind to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to give this person another 3 months to see if they speak up, step up, and say something or do something here to help this relationship progress and move forward. And if they don't, I'm not going to take less than that. We're done. We're moving on. Keep your standards high. You know what you want, and it's that Queen of Pentacles energy, security, stability, long-term relationship for some of you, a relationship that is mutual, that is balanced, where two people come together, have the same vision, have the same goal, want the same thing. Don't take less than that. Don't accept the breadcrumbs. Keep your standards high. If it's a committed relationship and partnership that you want, and this person cannot give that to you, on to the next. Why waste your precious time and energy? Okay? If they're not valuing you, if they're not seeing you, if there's a lack of attention, recognition there of everything that you bring to the table, of everything that you're offering, and if they don't see that, they're not the one. Okay, quite simply, they're not the one. Yeah, some of you, it could be that this person is distracted, that they are ignoring, they're emotionally unavailable, they're not reciprocating your energy. Okay, let's see. What is your soul telling you about this connection, group 2? We have steps here and illumination, wisdom, reconsider, the dream. So if you have a dream, right, we have a vision, we know what we want, we've got certain standards. Is this person meeting that? Are they reciprocating and being the person that you need them to be? So your soul is asking you to reconsider, trying to illuminate the steps that you're taking with this person. Let's clarify the reconsider here. Because this is also a moment for you to learn here too, right? With the wisdom. Also, what you've gone through in your past, right? All those experiences that you've had in your past, in your love life, or even with this person. Some of you, this could be teaching you about your self-worth. Keep those standards high, right? Queen of Wands energy, Queen of Pentacles. That is some powerful energy. And if that person can't be your King of Pentacles, King of Wands, they gotta go. Okay, tell us a little bit more about this reconsider here. 9 of Pentacles. Look at Here she is again, Queen of Wands, the Hermit. So, you know, the Nine of Pentacles is a very secure energy. This is about you being very secure within yourself, confident in yourself. You know, and if this person isn't stepping up in the way that you need them to, you're better off being single, right? Why deal with this? So the Hermit energy here is about taking time to really ask yourself, what am I really looking for here? What do I really want? What are my desires? What is my goal when it comes to, for those of you where this is romantic and it's about love? What do you want, right? The Queen of Wands she's on a mission, right? She is confident in being able to realize her dreams, her fullest potential, and the things that she really wants. And we want to be involved with someone who provides stability, who provides security, who makes us feel good, who makes us feel confident in ourselves, and, you know, is also someone who's confident in themselves. You know, some of you could be dealing with a person who has self-worth issues, where they're not allowing themselves to receive love. They're closed off. They're emotionally unavailable. They're, you know, so do we want to continue to try to give all of our time and our energy to someone who's not open to receive it? And the way that I see that is, let's just say that the person is holding a cup, right? And that cup is symbolic of their heart, being open to receive your love. What if that cup is flipped upside down, right? And you're trying to pour and pour and pour and pour yourself into this, and all of the liquid is just like running all over the place. Like this person is just not open to receive it. So how, if they're not open to receive what you're trying to give to them, how can they very well give to you? Okay, so reconsidering here, the Hermit is your path and your way forward. And it really, I feel like it's like Spirit saying, don't lose sight of what it is that you want. If this person cannot provide to you, ask them to step aside. Okay. All right, so I'm going to leave this here for you, Group 2. I do hope this reading was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Hi, Group 3. So those of you that resonated with the Nightmare card, hopefully this isn't a nightmare that you're dealing with this person. But we'll see what the tarot brings out. We've got Psychic Protection, a Shield, and Bad Dreams with card number 5. So we're asking Spirit today, what is your soul telling you about this connection? Let's see. What is your soul telling you about this connection, Group 3? 5 of Pentacles. I will say across the board today, all 3 groups have had some really challenging energy coming through. So the collective that I'm tapping into today is definitely dealing with some challenging connections. But it's why I'm here, right? To provide guidance and clarity for people that are going through this. What is your soul telling you about this connection? I'm here for you. 7 of Wands. What is your soul telling you about this connection? We have the Emperor. The 2 of Swords. Maybe this one's going to be a little different, hopefully. Queen of Cups. Okay. What is your soul telling you about this connection? Well, I will say that we started off with the nightmare here with psychic protection, shield, and bad dreams. Now, oftentimes when we're having a dream, you know, a nightmare about something, it's our subconscious's way of trying to bring something to our conscious awareness. Okay? For us to receive intuitively, a message basically. And this feels like your soul is trying to communicate with you through your dreams to send a message here. What is your soul telling you about this connection? The Seven of Swords. The Tower. Nine of Swords. Wow. So some of you might be having literally nightmares. The Nine of Swords is when we are feeling very anxious. We're feeling very in our head, not able to sleep, being awake at night, just our mind is just nonstop. A lot of worrying, a lot of stressing, a lot of this feels like insecurities here. What is your soul trying to tell you about this connection? The Eight of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. Okay. Okay, so I feel like your group is a little different. I'm seeing the Ace of Pentacles here. I do want to clarify a little bit though, because I feel like your soul, like I said, is trying to communicate something to you through your dreams. And it feels like it could be surrounding some type of subconscious insecurity that you might have. And this feels like it could be centered around abandonment, an abandonment wound that's here. It may even be telling you about the other person too. Like you could have a dream about the other person and what they're dealing with. Okay? What the other person is dealing with. Where you're receiving insight. You're receiving intuitive insight about the other person's state of mind and their insecurities. So I want to clarify this a little bit further. Now this could be where you're kind of like your higher self is trying to tell you like you're overthinking. You're stressing yourself out. Okay. What is this Two of Swords here? Knight of Cups in reverse. Queen of Swords. And the Hierophant. What is this Tower here? Nine of Cups in reverse. We've got the Fool, the Seven of Pentacles, Four of Swords, the Star, and the Seven of Wands. Okay. Okay, like I said, some of you, it's kind of like where your soul is, maybe through the dream state, or even your own intuition, your own inner knowing. I feel that you are dealing with a person who is in love with you, okay? Who is in love with you. And this person might be afraid of telling you how they feel, okay? And some of you might be feeling a little bit insecure because maybe it's the person's hard to read. Maybe they're not talking about their feelings. Maybe they, you know, yeah, I want to say having difficulty with truly expressing how they feel to you. Some of you are dealing with a person who does have insecurities surrounding talking about or expressing feelings, emotions. And I feel that your soul is trying to tell you that this person is someone who is in denial of their feelings. Okay, they're in denial. And they might have a lot of insecurities and issues with allowing themselves to fully open up and be vulnerable. And so they might come through to you as like very guarded, hard for you to read. But I feel like the fact is that this person truly does have some very deep feelings for you. And they may have been someone who's gone through some maybe very challenging relationships in their past. And because of that, they might be afraid of really letting their guard down and opening up to express how they truly feel towards you. Okay? Now, what I feel like your soul is also trying to tell you here is that the situation that you're dealing with this person, it is going to be something that does require patience. So try to get out of your head with the whole worrying and stressing and overthinking and overanalyzing. Be patient. And if you don't have the patience, that's totally fine. Okay. Totally fine. If you don't want to, that's okay. If it's just not going to work for you. But it feels like this own person's higher self is trying to help them to address limiting beliefs that they have surrounding love, or if you are the person who has limiting beliefs or fears of rejection, abandonment, neglect, wounds. This is also, like I said, your subconscious's way of trying to bring your attention to these wounds that you have to push past, you have to heal from, okay? The Seven of Wands is here twice, okay? And the Seven of Wands is about perseverance. It's about overcoming challenge and adversity and resilience. So even though you or the other person may have gone through, right, some difficult relationships in your past and have been in situations that may not have been the best, we may kind of subconsciously have a fear of abandonment, a fear of rejection, a fear of betrayal even, because the Seven of Swords is here. Like if you've been cheated on in the past, you've been betrayed, you've been lied to, right? Or this person has gone through that. These are hurdles to overcome. And I feel like your higher self, especially if these are your wounds, that your soul is trying to say, hey, you're stronger than these fears. You're stronger than these limitations that are here. If you're the person who's afraid of vulnerability, afraid of opening up, your soul could be telling you, like, to let your guard down. You know, certainly use discernment. We have the Queen of Swords here. Both Queen of Cups and Queen of Swords are here. So this is about not only the heart, but it's also the mind. Okay? So if you're the person who's in denial of your feelings and afraid to express them, afraid to be vulnerable because of a fear of rejection, a fear of abandonment, a fear of betrayal, you know, this could be your own soul saying, hey, you've got these wounds here that you need to heal so that you can move into a more stable energy, to stabilize your emotions, to stabilize the mind, to get out of your head, to stop overthinking, to stop worrying, to stop stressing, you know, and that could be really where you start to really work on yourself. The Eight of Pentacles is about self-mastery. Now, with you and this person, of course, it takes two, right? Both people committing to overcoming challenges here. I feel like your soul is telling you it's possible. The Ace of Pentacles is also here twice. That's an opportunity for a new beginning, right? So in a way, whether you're the person who's coming in with wounds, the other person's coming in with wounds, it is possible for both of you, or whoever this energy belongs to that we're dealing with the difficulty here, it's possible for that person or the two of you to make the conscious decision to open yourself up to love, to this connection, to create a new beginning. This situation doesn't have to be what your past has been and what you've experienced. But sometimes if we've been rejected a lot, if we've been abandoned, if we've been ghosted, if we've been, you know, in situations where we were putting so much effort, overgiving, and the other person didn't give back, and, you know, we might have those fears, right? Subconsciously, where we're like, no, I've been through this before. I don't want to go through that again. Where if we have a new person comes in who's trying to love us, we might automatically just push them away to protect ourselves, right? We might have bad dreams that, oh, this person's going to leave us. They're going to deceive us. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And it's just like, or we end up pushing it away, blocking it. But I feel like your soul is trying to tell you, yes, that there's healing that's needed here. Okay. But we can choose choose to think differently, to work on yourself, to become a new version of yourself, to let go of the past, to make amends with the past, so that you're able to embark on a new beginning, a new journey of love that is different than what you've experienced in the past, and feel motivated towards change, towards changing your beliefs about love. You know, sometimes when we go through things that are really difficult, sometimes we feel bitter. Sometimes we feel angry and resentful and hurt, and we just don't want to deal with it. We don't want to go through situations like that again. So if we're, you know, going into a new situation, we might automatically go back to that event, that time, or even get triggered, right, in a new situation that we're dealing with the person. So your soul is trying to help you to overcome these limiting beliefs surrounding love. The Five of Pentacles is sometimes low self-esteem, low self-worth, not allowing yourself to receive, or even feelings of unworthiness. So we want to change that. You know, so some of you, like I said, your higher self, your soul, could be trying to tell you, hey, we've got these wounds here subconsciously, and maybe they're creating a lot of fears for you in the dream state. Sometimes you can have like these nightmarish dreams where the person is like doing these things and breaking your heart, and, you know, where it's just completely throwing you off, where it's kind of keeping you stuck in that same cycle, you know? And it could be the other person who's dealing with that. And your own intuition is kind of showing to you, hey, this person needs healing, you know? So let's see what else here. I feel like what your soul is telling you is that healing is possible for this connection. The star is about having hope. It's about having faith. It's about believing. It's about trusting. It's about restoration, renewal. Maybe for some of you, this is telling you that reconciliation is possible. Healing is possible. What is your soul telling you about this connection? You know, sometimes if we have like these thoughts creep in about neglect, abandonment, rejection, betrayal, this is your soul trying to tell you you're stronger than that. You're resilient. You can overcome these nightmarish thoughts, beliefs. You know, everyone's going to hurt me, or everyone always abandons me. Okay? We've got abundance here. What is your soul telling you about this connection? Escape, solitude, and pathway. We have overlooked here at the bottom. So this is your soul trying to tell you something you're overlooking here. Maybe some of you feel like being single or escaping is safer. It's let's clarify a little bit. What is being overlooked here, Spirit? What is being overlooked? What is being overlooked? Page of Wands in reverse. Queen of Wands. This feels like a desire. Yeah. I was going to say a desire for change here, because the Page of Wands is in reverse is going to be us being afraid of a new path, a new journey, things being different than what we've had to experience in the past. The Five of Swords energy here is a lot of self-sabotaging thoughts. It's a feeling of defeat. You know, we could have that thought in our mind that we're always defeated by love, and we always get abandoned, we always get rejected, we always get hurt, right? And that kind of makes us afraid, right, of opening up our heart. So maybe for some of you, you're overlooking a lot of the self-sabotaging thoughts that we need to start paying attention to. Our negative inner voice, the Five of Swords, is a lot of resentment, anger, you know, that maybe some of you still might have from past situations that you've gone through that could be affecting the way that you connect with this person. It could also be that we're overlooking the other person's defense mechanisms, or their self-sabotaging behavior, or their trust issues where they're afraid of trusting love again, you know? Because let's just say it's them, and you're the one who says, okay, I'm ready for this connection, I'm open to it, and they're the ones who are afraid there, you know? So like I said, some of you, I feel like this is where your soul is telling you here, yes, this requires patience, healing is possible, persevering through the obstacles here is possible, but you also have to have two people that want to make this work, you know? What is the pathway here? Three of Wands. Knight of Pentacles. So I almost feel like for some of you, the instruction here from your higher self, your soul, is take things slow. Okay, the Knight of Pentacles is slow and steady. So maybe with this person, we don't try to force, we don't try to push them. We provide support, especially if they're the one that's dealing with the issues. If it's for you too, take your time. Baby steps. Yeah, the Empress is here at the bottom. This is about nurturing the connection. Also nurturing yourself. You know, if you're the one that notices, oh, I still have trust issues, I still feel angry, I still feel bitter because of something that person did to me in the past where they betrayed me. You know, maybe we're overlooking how that past situation, whether it has to do with this person or another person, maybe we're overlooking what kind of energy we're also contributing here, because the Five of Swords can also be when we have I don't think this is all of you, but some of you could have a spicy tongue, you know, and you might lash out and you might say hurtful things and you might be angry and, you know, maybe responding or reacting in a negative way. Are we reactive here? You know, like if the person, let's just say the person is afraid of opening up their heart, and instead of understanding and having compassion or empathy, that we are mean. You know, we're mean and we're just like, what is wrong with you? And just like saying things that don't make a person feel like they want to open up. It makes them want to just shut down, you know? So we have to take a look at our own energy and how we're kind of contributing to this, to help to taking these steps to helping to build something, you know, sustainable with the person. Check your energy, basically. Check yourself. Are we acting from a place of insecurities? You know, are we getting triggered and kind of taking it out on another person? This is where we have to also look at ourselves and our own energy that we're also bringing to the table here. Because I feel, okay, let's see what this abundance here. The Hangman in reverse. Yeah. Some of you, this is going to be a need for you to change your perspective. You know, the Six of Cups is about really opening up, bonding, sharing, being more giving. And with the Hangman in reverse, sometimes this can be when we have a very fixed perspective, meaning that we're being more narrow-minded about things, or we're not open to the way that the other person is thinking or the other person is feeling, and we only have our own way. So instead of being able to truly see the abundance of the way that this bond could really go, you know, if we're kind of functioning from this place over here, it's not going to be so great and so conducive to really helping to form a loving connection between two people. This requires vulnerability here. And being open to abundance, being open to receive the abundance of love, letting ourselves be loved, you know, is we're afraid, right, of abandonment. What are we going to do? We're going to push someone away. We're going to close ourselves off. We're going to be defensive because we don't want to get hurt. So what is the escape here? The Hermit. Okay. So your higher self, your soul, is trying to tell you that in a way, there's a need for you to look within yourself. Okay. Sometimes also we can escape into ourselves in a way that's not very helpful, because the Hermit is also about withdrawing, right? So we can also withdraw if we feel like we're going to get abandoned, we're going to get lied to, we're going to get cheated on, we're going to get betrayed. We might withdraw. We might escape into our own little world and just kind of close ourselves off to connection, to people, because it feels safe. Okay, so that may be where we more so need to look at the subconscious spheres that we have and how it's affecting, how your subconscious spheres are affecting your connection with this person, or even having a deeper understanding that if you're noticing that this person is avoiding, is withdrawing from you. Now, of course, you don't have to deal with that. You know, it's your choice. But if for those of you that really like this person, want to make this work, or you love this person, you know, we have to have an understanding. We have to have compassion. Queen of Cups is here. We have to be an emotionally supportive partner, you know. Now, that's not to say that it's your job, especially if they're the one with the wounds, where it's your job to heal them. It's not. Okay? It's not your job to heal them. It's not your job to fix them. But you can certainly embody an energy of support, of stability, of compassion, of empathy, of love, to help provide the type of environment that a person needs to feel like, okay, there's no threat here. I can heal. I can let my guard down. I can trust again. To help things to move forward. As well as if you're the one who's dealing with these wounds here, you would want the other person to be compassionate with you. You know? Now, of course, there's certain boundaries, because sometimes, like I said, for some of you, if you've got a spicy tongue here, you know, you need to watch that. You need to take accountability and responsibility for that too, because just because we're hurt and we're wounded doesn't make it okay for us to talk down to people or to hurt people with our words. We've got to watch that, you know. And sometimes, like I said, we need to check ourselves and make sure that we're not kind of projecting, you know, onto another person, because then we could again be contributing energy here where we're overlooking ourselves. You know, are we mishandling the connection? Because the Page of Wands can also be immaturity. And this is kind of like a temper tantrum, Page of Wands. Okay. Not being able to control our anger. Like I said, some of you might be very reactive. It could be the way that you, the way that you talk, the way that you say things, the tone of your voice. Maybe if you're mean, okay, stop being mean. Sometimes we could say things the wrong way and that could hurt, you know? And again, if we're trying to have connection and harmony and balance, and we're talking a certain way that's not very nice, that's not going to help the relationship to come together. It's going to actually pull the two of you apart. Okay? And that's not to say that we can't have boundaries. Like if this person is the one who's hurt here and they're the one that's lashing out, they're the one who's, you know, saying some mean things, that it's okay, that we have to tolerate it. No. You've got boundaries, and you learn to use your voice and be assertive and learn to speak up and stand up for yourself and have boundaries where you need to and assert what your boundaries are. This is not okay. You know, things like that have to be worked on. But again, I feel like Spirit's saying healing is possible, but there's also a need for that mutual respect. There's a need for seeing both sides. And sometimes, like I said, we might have a little bit of a fixed mindset where we're only thinking about ourselves, our feelings, our, you know, our way of thinking about something, and we're not considering what the other person is dealing with or where they're coming from. We need to think about both sides. Okay? All right, so I'm going to leave this here for you. Group number 3. I do hope this is helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading.